Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. This is the story of a Lebanese woman who challenged God in front of thousands of Muslims in Lebanon. You won't believe what happened to her in the end. Glory be to God. But if you are Muslim, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can know the number of Muslims watching this video. Remember, whoever guides others to good is like the one who acts upon it. Music. This is a true story that took place in Lebanon. There was a Lebanese woman living in Lebanon who worked for an airline company. One day, one of her colleagues at work admired her, proposed to her, and they got married. This woman was married to a Muslim man, and the husband prayed every day and was committed to the teachings of Islam and its principles. However, the husband noticed that his wife did not pray and was not following the teachings of Islam, but he thought to himself, "She will pray in the future." He believed that Islam is a religion of ease, not hardship, and that Islam is a religion of persuasion, not compulsion. He understood that it was wrong to force someone into Islam. Instead, one should make them understand that Islam is the straight and correct religion. Anyone who truly looks into Islam will discover that it is the religion that makes a person's life healthy in body, soul, and dealings with others. The husband said, "I did not force her to do anything. She just wasn't convinced of Islam, but I was patient with her. I hoped that she would understand and pray one day." He would pray in front of her every day, trying to teach her the principles of Islam, and he would tell her about the punishment of those who neglect prayer. He also shared beautiful stories of the companions and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to help her love Islam and understand its significance, but all his efforts were in vain. She remained stubborn and refused to accept Islam. She did not recognize any religion at all, not even Islam. Sadly, after their marriage, the husband discovered that his wife was an atheist and she hated Islam. She despised any religion that came from heaven. The husband learned this only after marriage, which led him to divorce her. They separated, and he left her with their child. This woman then traveled to America with her young child, hoping to escape her husband and keep him away from their daughter. In America, she worked for an airline company, and one day she saw a colleague from an Arab country who was a practicing Muslim. This man would continuously read the Quran during work because it was the month of Ramadan. He would pray and worship during work hours. The woman, who was working with him in the same room, observed him. She thought to herself, "I left my husband, came to America, and yet there are Muslims everywhere I go. What is this bad luck?" She saw the man praying and making a supplication, saying, "O Allah, heal my son from his illness." The woman, surprised, asked him, "What are you saying? Who will heal your son? Are you crazy? I have never seen God and you haven't either. How do you expect your son to be healed by an unknown being you worship?" The man replied, "Fear Allah." "What are you saying? My son is ill and I am making a prayer for him. Humans are weak, and they have no power except through Allah. Allah is the only way to salvation in this world." The woman scoffed and said, "What are you talking about? You are challenging me now. You are praying to God for your son's healing, but I am praying to God to kill my daughter. I am praying right now that God kills my daughter at home." She said, "Do you think my daughter will die?" "Of course not. She will not die because there is no God. These are all superstitions." The man was horrified and replied, "May Allah protect us." "What are you saying? Why are you praying for your daughter's death? I have never seen anyone in my life act like this. We are in the blessed month of Ramadan, and you are praying for your daughter's death." The woman retorted, "You are challenging me. I am angry, and that's why I made this prayer. My daughter won't die, and I challenge God to do anything to her." The man, disturbed by her stubbornness, walked away. The woman went home, and as soon as she entered the house, she was struck by a terrifying shock. She found her daughter lying on the floor, lifeless, with toys scattered around her. The woman screamed and cried uncontrollably. In that moment of grief and shock, she immediately said, "I testify that Islam is the true religion, and I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his servant and messenger." She mourned the death of her daughter for a long time, quit her job and returned to Lebanon. She went back to her husband and told him what had happened. The husband said, "This was God's punishment for you, first because you challenged Allah, and secondly because you wanted to keep my daughter away from me." The woman, crying, confessed her great mistake and said, "I accept this punishment from Allah and pray that He forgives me for the great sin I committed. I also ask for your forgiveness." She asked her husband, "Would you accept to marry me again?" The husband, who was crying heavily, paused and said, "I am not crying because of your grief. I am crying because I am so happy that you returned to Islam. I am not saddened by the loss of our daughter, because it was Allah's will. I accept to marry you again." They went to the officiant to marry again, and they lived a happy life together. The moral of this story is that Islam is the true and correct religion, and anyone who challenges Allah or Islam will face a severe end. The power of prayer and spirituality. The narrative emphasizes the power of prayer and belief in God. The contrast between the woman's disbelief and the Muslim man's faith shows how prayer and trust in God provide strength and comfort, even in dire situations. The importance of faith and respect for God. Lesson: never challenge or disrespect the divine will. The story emphasizes that God's power is supreme and beyond human comprehension. Challenging or mocking God can lead to consequences beyond what we can control. Spiritual takeaway. True faith involves humility, trust, and submission to God's will, regardless of life's circumstances. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.